Hi everyone, this is Terry from Allen Art and Design. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'd really love to hear what you think of my projects. If you enjoy the content on my channel, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Happy crafting. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Terry from Allen Art and Design. Hope everybody's having a nice afternoon. It's getting dark really early these days. So I wanted to show you how I make one of my needle books from start to finish. So let me start with the cover. I still have to sew a button on here, but I love it because it looks like a little mini quilt. It's got all kinds of buttons on it. Love it. So what I do is I start with material. Let me move this out of the way. I start with the material. It doesn't, for the base, it doesn't matter what kind of material it is. This is from an old hanky. This is just some, I don't even know what this is called. But it's perfect for a needle book. It's just for the base. It's just a neutral base. This is from a curtain. I don't care. That would make a good needle book, or a page in a slow stitch. I've decided that these are way too big to be needle books. But what they can be is a slow stitch, a stitch sampler book. So that I'm going to leave that with that because I think that will go good. This is just a cover that I worked on. Same thing. It's just a patchwork. And then I just did a running stitch to hold it all down. I patched this piece and I needed an extra piece, so I patched a piece on. It doesn't matter, you're not going to see it anyways. So that's the beginning of a stitch sample book. Love that. And then this is just some like Aida cloth that you use for cross stitching. It's old. It doesn't even matter. It's going to be the base. It's going to be the inside. You won't even see it. So that would be fine. And then this here, this material I think would be really good for making a topper for a needle book. So you've got a base here and you can sew things onto it, but it's got a nice neutral background that you could add anything to. So I have 3 of these, so I'm gonna make some toppers out of these. I love this size. So when I'm at my daughter's house and I'm babysitting for my little granddaughter, I like to work on small things because she sleeps for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And so that gives me a chance to just do a little bit of stitching. And I can probably get, one of these done in, I babysit Mondays and Tuesdays. Start it on Monday, finish it on Tuesday. It's just something fun for me to do while she's sleeping. And that's the kind of thing I can do while I'm watching TV or... All right, so that just gives you an idea of what you can use for the base. Lots of different things. I'm going to use that one. I'm just showing you what you can do. Now this is just made out of a quilt. I just cut that off of a quilt. Wow, not sure which side I like the best. That's going to be hard. Let's see. Let's put the topper on and see which side looks nicer. That looks good. I think I like that side better. So another project for another day. So those are what I use for bases for these. So what I do is I just take little scraps. These are actually left over from this newest needle book. All I do is start laying them out, and they don't all have to be long like this. Just start laying them down. No rhyme or reason. You can lay them over, you can lay them under. Kind of, I like to vary. These materials, they don't have to match at all. I just use scraps. I think it works out really good. And so I just place them down. I do like to try to use, for like this to me is like the main material. So I like to use like 3 of those. And I kind of try to do that with all of the materials. Try to do like 3. So I've got 2 of those. I can use another one. And just cut one in it. Oh, there's a smaller one. And you just put it underneath. Put it underneath this one. They don't even have to be straight. Doesn't even matter. It's just a matter of putting it down. I always have to remember, I usually cover the middle with something, so I don't want to waste a lot of good material on the middle. I just want to use up some of this stuff just to fill in, because it's going to get covered. So why waste the good stuff, right? Not sure how I want that. And then I just kind of work my way around. Put another one here. I like to stagger the seams. Okay, what else do we have? I have 3 of that one. Let's get some more of that. I don't know if I have any more of that. This is just like I said, leftovers from things. So let's just keep working over here. Doesn't have to be straight, but if it bothers you and you want it to be straight, then you can make it straight. Oh, that one fits almost exactly there. Cover that. So you're just doing like a little patchwork. That's all it is. Now this I would like up there. I'm just going to show you how I lay it out. It's not exact. I'm trying to see how I want this. So there's all different kinds of material. Got another little square here. Let's add some more of this up here. And these are just fillers. They just fill in the gaps. That's all it is. So I just kind of, it's a little patchwork. That's all it is. And that's why it ends up looking like a little patchwork quilt, because that's what it, basically what it is. We got some more blue here. There. I want this over here. Now you could start with one color of material as your base if you want to. I'm just trying to use up scraps. You can put this one over here. So basically that first page is done. I don't want to waste the good material in the middle, like I said. That's fine. So what you do is you get some of these. I have ones that are a little bigger that I like better, but I'm using them on another project. So you just take them and press them down. This holds your material. Sometimes you gotta lift it up to get that pin underneath. I might want to put that there. So I just go around, pin everything down. It just makes it easier for when you want to do your invisible stitching, because that's what I use to connect them all. I do some decorative stitching on the top like this when I'm done. But for this, I just do basic. It's like a basting. It's an invisible stitch, but it's just basting is all you're doing. And if there's any like material sticking out over there, it doesn't matter. Once you sew it down, you can go around and then you can trim it off. Makes no difference. I don't waste a lot of time thinking about that kind of thing. Just pin it down. A lot of times I'll pin this and I'll baste it at home, and that way I can just keep working once I get there and I'm not worrying about the pins. But this is just showing you how I do my covers. I just love stitching this like this. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to turn it so that you can see that flower more, just turn it. These pins are so small. Look at them. They're like minuscule. So I bought these, and I actually ended up buying like 2 packs of these thinking I was going to love them. No, I don't. I did go and buy the next size up though, and I really like those. So I may end up buying more of those. I'll keep these and I'll use them. I'm just not crazy about them. They're they're too tiny for me. I'm not really good with fine motor skills anymore like I used to be. But let's see. So you're just pinning everything down. So like I do with this, I do this with most of my books, is I find a focal point. And I put one on the front and one on the back. I just like to do that. Okay. That one needs something. I feel like this needs to come down a little bit more. It's not covering that. Oh, I got 2 in there. Yeah. This can come over a little more because it's sticking way over. And just pin them down. One more, maybe 2. Oh, that looks like it needs to be pinned down. This the material in the back is so fine. But it's only a base. It's just a place for you to put your little pieces. You see how nothing matches? It doesn't have to match. Once you get it all sewed together, it has a way of blending together. It looks so cool. So this will be the beginning of my next needle book. I'll just try to get this one down. That piece kind of fits almost perfectly. Look at that. And if you don't like working with tiny little pieces of material like this, cut them bigger. It's up to you what you want to do. This just happens to be like I don't know, I've just come to the conclusion that I like to put my books together like this. That's too close to that. That could just go in the middle. Like I said, I'm going to cover that anyways. Doesn't really matter. So this can go under here. And that can go over there. This needs to come out more. And you just pin them together. Like I said, you can trim it up later and it will straighten it all out. Right now you're just building a base. That's all you're doing. If that's cockeyed, move it over. There you go. Okay, so let's see what we got here. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Put that there. Actually, I think I'll switch them. This can go here. This can go right there. So now I need some kind of another strip across the top. It's just a base. Fine. All right, we need something else. Here's a good one. That under there. Great. So that's how I prepare my base. And once you get the base done, the rest of it goes pretty quickly. And you can change your mind and move things around. Like this isn't even pinned down over here. Need to come down more. And we don't care about this part. This is the middle. We don't really care much about that. I usually cover the spine too. All right. Just gonna put a pin right here to hold these down. This one needs to go under. just want to vary. Stagger them. And there we go. See, now the bottom is all like wonky or whatever. It doesn't matter because you're going to trim that all up. You can use a rotary cutter and a ruler. But that's how I begin my needlebooks. This one needs a pin right here. And then this is ready to go in a bag for me to take wherever I want to stitch. So that's the beginning of my needle book. I'm going to shut this so I don't spill it. Okay, where's my little bag for this? So then I just keep all my scraps. I keep my scraps from all my projects. And then ones that I can cut into little squares and strips, I keep those in one bag. If they're too small, I keep them in another bag and add them to my small scraps, because you can use them. Excuse me. Pin cushions, not needle books. Pin cushion. A lot of times I will use this kind of a thing here. That will be, I can either do it sideways, which I think I like sideways, and then I'll just pin that on the front to remind me that that's what I want to use. I've got another one for the back. Just I'll pin that one on too. So this is the beginning of another needle book. That's the cover, and that's how I do them. Beginning of another needle book. Love it already. Look at that. How cute. Like that. Is I keep a lot of these kinds of things. These are for the pages that I make. Now this is made. Cut it to the size of the book that you're using. You got yourself a page in your book. Might keep that with that, and then that would be like the middle page. I would have a few pages. This could be the back page. I only put a couple of pages in my books. They don't need a lot. And then a lot of times I'll cut pieces to fit on the pages. I'll stitch around them and I'll put some felt underneath. Like I'll show you, like I did with this one. Just take little pieces, cut them. I put felt under there. And then I stitch around on the material to make it look like it's stitched on, but it's not. I glue it on because if you stitched it on, you'd go through the other side. And my husband's like, well, why don't you just stitch it on and then put the other one on and stitch it on? It'd be going through and you wouldn't be able to match up the stitches and it would be a mess. So I just do it that way. So this is the beginning. Like I would take pinking shears, cut it the size I want, stitch around with embroidery thread, put some felt underneath it, and then glue it down. Same thing with this one. But they would be smaller, like this. I like to have a smaller page in between. And then these, let me show you. I got this. This was a dress. Got it at Savers, $7.49. I buy clothing and I turned it into material and embellishments. thought that this was just so pretty, and I'm like, oh, I could cut out these little leaves and use them in my needle books as embellishments. They're very pretty. I love the color. So look at how much I can get out of this thing. I mean, it's huge. It's gonna take me forever to use all of that, but I love it, so I'm thrilled with it. Once I cut out another piece of material, like this material goes with this book. So I'll just cut out, I'm just trying to give you an example of how I do this. Everybody does things differently. You can do it any way you like. This is just how I do it. So I would make that fit the page, the size I want. And then I would go around with pinking shears. Trim it up with the pinking shears. Take some embroidery thread. Like I did here. I just went around, oops, it's upside down. I went around with the embroidery thread after I did the pinking. And then I put some felt underneath it. So that way you can use it as a pin cushion. They're all pin cushions and needles, places to put needles and pins. That's all this is. Okay, so then I would just take a couple of these and put them on there just to embellish it a little bit. And I would also do the same here. I like them to match. I'm kind of a nerd that way, but I do like I would have them on every page. Just like I did here. There's one on each page. And then this one I still have to finish stitching a little bit more. Once I glue all of these little pin cushions on each page, then I can sew it together inside this cover. So inside this cover, what I like to do is I like to do a patchwork on the outside, and I like to do a coordinating piece of material. See this blue there? I even made yo-yos to match. I made these pockets out of lace, and then I sewed on some more of these little leaf embellishments. I love them. This is just trim that came off a vintage hanky. I sewed that onto this using this blanket stitch before I put this backing on, and then I stitched the backing on over it, and it's on there. That's not coming out because now it's stitched twice, and then afterwards I stitched this lace all the way around, little tiny stitches. Then I stitched 2 rows here for the spine, but it also makes a pocket on each side. And then I will sew this inside here. I'll sew it with embroidery thread, or maybe I'll use some wax thread. Wax thread works great too. And then I'll have a dangle with some beads on it. The beads will probably, actually, I think once I sew it in, the beads will probably hang on the outside. And then I want to take some embroidery thread, braid it, sew it onto this side. I'm gonna have to open that up and sew it inside. And then it'll be a loop, and it will go over that cute little button It's got a shank on it. You have to have one with a shank, otherwise it's not gonna go around. I can show you the one that I use and how that works. This is the one I made for myself. See how I sewed it in? Then I have beads on the outside, which I love the beads. And then this is just some embroidery thread that I braided. And I put some beads on it. And then you can wrap it around the button. And I just love it. So I always put something as a focal point on the outside. These are little yo-yos. And then this was one of those little doily, and this is a crocheted flower. I love the pink and the green, so I did everything pink and green so it all goes together. That's my personal one, and I love it. I use it all the time. So that's how I make one of my needle books. This is the beginning of my next one. I just love it. But I only put 2 pages in there. That's all you need, because 2 pages gives you 8 sides. So that's plenty of pin cushions for needles and pins. And I always put, now see, I have to find some lining, which I think will be this. Oh yeah, let's take this out. I want to see, it's got to be, I'll push that aside. It needs to have a 1/4 inch on each side, and this does easily. So what I'll do is I'll just cut this, and I will be ready with this inside. I like to use one material on the inside of my books. I think that the lace shows up better for the pockets when I do that. Yeah, so this will be the inside. It's a little bit big, but what I do is I fold it down, and then I just whip stitch all the way around, all the way like that. And then I cut the corners. I miter the corners. Yeah, so that would look nice. Look at that. I still have to trim up that front, but this is just the basic construction of my needle books. Just thought somebody might be interested in it. I think they're fun and functional. That's what I like. And let me see if I can find some lace. How about if I find some lace from the lace kit that I bought from Lizzie Brewer the other day. I got this beautiful lace kit from her. I like that. So that was easy. Make a pocket. And I'll just cut extra. So I can just go ahead and pin this. So I've already made my decision on my lining, my pocket. That's going to be great. Look at that. And then I've got these pages. So this will go inside here. That'll be the first page. The first page is always the larger of the two. And let's see. Cut this down. That can go on that side. This can go on this side. This just gives you an idea of the basic construction. And I keep these little scraps. I'll reuse those. It's too big. And this is just, like I said, this is just basic construction. So that's that. And then, like I said, I would have one of these on each of the pages. And I would have these on this side, another one on this side. And you can see that I would have one on each page like that. So this is the beginning of another needle book. And I'll put my scraps in here. When I'm working on a project, I like to keep project bags so that I keep all my stuff together. So that's how I construct one of my needle books. So this is the next one. Just tuck that under like that. Oh yeah, baby. It's already starting to feel good too. Love it. And I would put a yo-yo in the middle like I did with this one. This is the one that I'm finishing up now. It's gonna be chunky, but I have to finish it first. I'm hoping to get it done tomorrow. But let's do a little flip through. So this is that, you know, the patchwork construction. I just love the look of that. This, I'm gonna put I decided to put a flat button on the back here. Just because it's the back and you don't want one of these buttons that sticks up like that. You don't want that on the back, so. And I probably will take a little bit of hot glue and glue this down a little bit, so it's not popping up the whole time. But, and then all my little, I did some stitches. I did a fern stitch with some French knots here and there. I did some little little X's here, crosses, here, here, here. I think that's it. And then I put buttons. I love these. These are glass buttons. Or ceramic, I'm not sure, but I thought that the blue just went beautiful. I found a bunch of little buttons that I had. This definitely needs something in the middle. I can't just leave it like that, so I'm gonna sew that on there. I love the little buttons. I just think that they're so pretty and dainty, and this I feel like is one of the prettiest ones I've done. And I think that this one's gonna be pretty too. I feel like that piece is too big. So I'll probably end up putting another piece of something there to break that up, because I feel like that's right there's too much of that. So, well, that's the front actually. So now the whole thing is upside down. That's all right. I'll just flip it. Flip it. Yep, like that. That's the front. The front is always a little bit more colorful than the back, because it's just the back. But I'll probably add a little bit more over here. I mean, this is just, like I said, basic construction. I can change it any way I want before I stitch it down. So, thank you for coming to my channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear what you think of my needle books. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video. Happy crafting!